In today's world, everything is moving a million miles an hour, and a single business decision can change, well, everything. So today, we're going to pop the hood on the technology that's designed to help us make the right call. We are going to deconstruct the decision machine.
You know the feeling, right? You're staring down a huge, high-stakes choice. You've got the spreadsheets, you've got the reports, but at the end of the day, you're still relying on a gut feeling. And look, in a world just overflowing with data, that's becoming a massive gamble. So the real question is, how do we get smarter about this?
Well, to answer that, we've got to realize that not all decisions are created equal. You've got your structured decisions on one side. That's the routine stuff, like when to restock inventory. Pretty straightforward, there's a process for it. But then you have the messy ones, the unstructured decisions. Things like, should we enter a totally new market? There's no playbook for that. And it's for those big, hairy, complex problems that we built this machine.
And here it is. We're calling it the Decision Machine, but its official name is a Decision Support System, or just DSS for short. This is the powerhouse tool designed to help us navigate all that complexity.
So what exactly is a DSS? At its heart, it's a computer system, but it's a very special kind. Its entire reason for being is to help us humans make better choices. And it does that by blending three absolutely essential ingredients: a ton of data, powerful models to analyze that data, and an interface that actually lets you use it without needing a PhD.
All right, to really get how this machine works, we're going to take it apart. We're going to look at its four core components, its fundamental subsystems. First, you've got the data. That's the fuel. Then the models, which are the engine. The knowledge, which is like the expert navigator. And finally, the interface. That's the control panel.
Let's start at the beginning with the data management subsystem. And honestly, this is everything. It is the absolute foundation, because without good, clean, well-organized data, your fancy decision machine is just a very expensive paperweight. It's the fuel that makes the whole thing go.
So how do you stop all that data from just becoming a chaotic digital mess? Well, it's all about structure. Think of it this way. The entire database is like a library. The files inside are the bookshelves. Each file is filled with records, which are the individual books. And every book is made up of data elements. You know, the actual words on the page. This simple hierarchy is what lets the system find exactly what it needs right when it needs it.
So who's running this library? That's where the Database Management System, or DBMS, comes in. You can just think of it as the head librarian. It's making sure all the books are accurate, keeping the doors locked so only the right people get in, managing the chaos when everyone wants to check out a book at the same time, and, this is a big one, making sure the books can be used by anyone, for any reason, not just for one specific purpose.
Okay, so we've got our fuel, high-quality data, all organized. Now we need the engine. This is the model management subsystem. This is the part that actually does the heavy lifting, turning all that raw data into genuine insight. Now, this quote here is so important. It says the model base is what makes a DSS different from any other information system. And that's the absolute truth. See, lots of systems can store data, but a DSS is built to store, manage, and actually run analytical models. We're talking statistical models, financial models, you name it. This is what lets you ask those critical what-if questions.
And if we look inside this engine room, you'll find three main things. You've got the model base itself. That's your whole toolkit of analytical models. You've got a modeling language, which is super cool because it lets you build brand new, custom models for unique problems. And you've got the model library, which is basically the card catalog for your models, keeping everything neat and tidy.
All right, next up, we're going to add a layer of actual intelligence. This is the knowledge-based subsystem. This is what elevates a DSS from being just a really, really smart calculator to being a genuine advisor. It's like building an expert right into the machine.
So how does that even work? Well, it stores two kinds of information. First, there are facts. For example, sales in the Northeast are down 10%. Simple, true. Then it stores hypotheses, or rules. Stuff like, if sales are down and a competitor's marketing is up, then you should probably consider a promotional campaign. It's this simple if-then logic that lets the system reason like an expert. This is what makes a DSS truly intelligent. Okay, so we've got data, we have models, we have built-in expertise. That's a whole lot of power under the hood. But how do we actually use it? That's where the final piece of the puzzle comes in, the user interface. This is our control panel.
And man, I love this quote because it is just so spot on. To most users, the user interface is the system. Think about it. It doesn't matter if you have a Ferrari engine. If the steering wheel is impossible to use, you're not going anywhere. A good intuitive interface is absolutely non-negotiable. It's the difference between a system people use and one that just collects dust.
When you boil it down, the interface is really managing a two-way conversation. There's the communication language, that's how we talk to the system, whether it's with a keyboard, a mouse, or even our voice. Then there's the presentation language. That's how the system talks back to us, turning all that complex analysis into charts and graphs that we can actually understand.
And of course, that conversation has changed a lot. Remember clicking away on those tiny BlackBerry keyboards? Now we just swipe and tap on a touchscreen. That leap completely changed the game, putting incredibly powerful data dashboards right into our pockets. But that evolution is nowhere near done. Now we're looking at things like virtual reality headsets and data gloves. Truly immersive ways to step inside our data and interact with it. The goal, though, is always the same: to make the conversation between us and the machine feel as natural as possible.
Okay, we've taken the machine apart and put it back together. Now let's zoom out. Where does our decision machine fit in the grand scheme of things in the business world? Well, it's a star player in a much bigger field called business intelligence. The easiest way to think about it is that business intelligence, or BI, is the giant umbrella that covers everything a company does to turn raw data into smart, actionable information. Our decision support system? It's one of the most powerful and important tools you'll find under that umbrella. It's not the whole story, but it's a huge part of it.
Under that big BI umbrella, you've got a whole suite of other powerful technologies. Things like data warehouses, which are basically giant digital archives. Business analytics tools that help you see what's going on. Data mining, which is like a search engine for patterns you didn't even know existed. And business performance management, which lets you watch your most important numbers in real time.
And this is what it looks like when it all comes together. When you see those mission control rooms with massive dashboards, you can bet that underneath it all, a decision support system is doing the heavy lifting, running the models, and feeding the data that powers that incredible big picture view.
So, at the end of the day, we've built these amazing machines to do the hard work, to collect the data, to crunch the numbers, to show us the patterns. They take a lot of the guesswork out of our toughest choices, which leaves us with one final, really interesting question. If the machine is handling the what does that free us up as humans to focus on? What's the next big decision?